with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington. So, welcome again to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist. And today we're going to have some real fun. We're going to talk about how to meet your crystal partners. I'll tell you a little bit about how I met my crystal partner, Fallon, and then give you some tips on how to meet the crystals who want to join with you in working with you in your daily life. So if you have some crystals around you right now, just grab a few of them. If not, just think about the subject we're going to be talking about today, because it's an awful lot of fun to play with crystals and to create new relationships with crystal partners. So, again, thank you for joining me today. I'm so thrilled to host the Om Times radio show, The Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It airs every Monday, so today at 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern time, and the connection is here, the live click where you can click on to the show is there, and it's also in the archives if you can't join us live. But today, right now, I want to really, people have asked me, how did you meet Fallon? How do you work with Fallon? How can I work with the crystal? And so I want to give you some ideas on how to work with crystals in your daily life and just give you a quick little bit about Fallon, because people have asked me, please tell us how you've met Fallon. That's a pretty long story for a quick Facebook Live presentation. I have covered it in the radio show, and I will cover it again in upcoming shows. But right now for today, let's get started and let's take a quick little meditation, a little grounding and balancing exercise with Fallon. Here he is. Fallon is a citrine Lemurian quartz. Wow, he's really showing up well today to me. And so connect with him however your intuition works most strongly. So you may see pictures in him, you may hear him chat with you, you may feel his energy, or you may simply know that you're connected with him. And hello, everyone who's chiming in and putting up little, what do you call those things? Okay, I know, the emoticons, and saying hello. And you're such an awesome community, and I'm so pleased to be here with you every week. So here he is. So as you connect with Fallon, we're going to run an energy line down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet and back up again. Just imagine how you might connect with a crystal partner. So take your attention to the top of your head. Think mind, body, and spirit are coming together. And just breathe down from the top of your head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And just feel all the cares of the day washing out and leaving you well grounded and balanced to be here in community with all of us. And you can see people chiming in from all over the world. So it's awesome, right? So we're all connected together by the power of Facebook and Om Times Media. So breathing up from your feet to the top of your head, just allow healing energy to join with you today. Moving up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. Crown chakra up there. People tell me they often feel lightheaded connected to Fallon, so we'll close everybody down at the end of the show and go from there. But I'm so happy to see emojis. Okay. Thank you. I get the words all mixed up with what those little things are, but they're cute, right? So thanks for joining us. British Columbia, oh my God, I hope your smoke is better than it is here in Seattle, but I don't think so. We're having very, very smoky skies here in Seattle, which just reminds us that we're all connected, right? And Canada is suffering badly from wildfires, Eastern Washington, the Olympic Peninsula, Oregon, California, and it's settling everywhere. So we send you all healthy skies soon, but also our best wishes to all of those who are dealing with forest fires. So how do you meet your crystal partners? Well, people ask me, how did you meet Fallon? Well, I met Fallon really kind of accidentally. I was told by some spiritual team people that I was working with, like you would call spirit guides. Hi, I'm going to wave wildly, Angelina. And thank you from, Billings and New Zealand. And yes, British Columbia. Yeah, it's very smoky up there today. And you have some really extensive fires going on up there. So, anyway, let me tell you quickly about Fallon because people have asked me to cover it in a Facebook Live. So, Fallon is currently in the shape of a crystal ball. He bounced around the world for years and years in his original form, which was, I know because I knew him in that form many lifetimes ago, triple terminated on one side and double terminated on the other. So, very powerful, very huge crystal. But no one could work with him in that form. And so every time he was sold, he went back again. So finally, he went to Brazil, and Lemurian quartz is mined only in Brazil. And over the course of 2 years, they turned him into a crystal ball. He came to the United States. He was purchased for a private collection. And then he came out of that collection to join a crystal workshop in the spring of 2009. And I went to that workshop, and I was trying to be respectful and not my smart alecky way I can be. And the person conducting the workshop was someone I knew, a crystal expert that I had bought grounding and balancing crystals from. And she said, anyone who wants to work with a crystal ball, please go pick up that crystal ball and sit down with it. And I'm like, oh my God, a crystal ball? A crystal ball, really? Just like everyone else, because everybody makes fun of crystal balls, right? But when I picked him up and I looked in him, there were all of the beings that I'd been talking to for a number of months, all of the ones who told me my ancient partner was coming back to me. And I went, oh my gosh, this is it. This is my partner. And it took almost 9 months for the person he was with to agree to sell him to me, which is what we do these days. We buy things, right? Fallon set his own price, the stinker. And he came home to our family in December of 2009. So, and it took a lot to adjust to his energy in the house. And the reason we're out in the world working together and doing things like Facebook Live, and you'll see him on my website, is that people started showing up at my door going like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. And I'm like, okay. And they'd come in and they'd see Fallon and they'd sit down and they'd be mesmerized. And then I'd hear him talking with them. So I thought, okay, I'll find a way for you to go out in the world so you can do your crystal thing in the world. So how about you? So what kind of crystals are you interested in, and how do you invite a crystal to join you? Okay, Karine, is it Karine Engel? You actually asked a wonderful question. Let me back up to your questions. Okay, so you have a crystal. You don't know what to do with it. You don't need to know what's going to happen. Okay, this is a perfect question, Karine. You see, you don't feel anything when you pick up your crystal. You don't know how to work with it. Well, here's the thing. The first thing you need to know is how your intuition works. So if you're clairvoyant, you see things, colors, maybe auras around people. These are the people who see like dead people and the non-physical entities who share the world with us. There's hearing, you hear things chat with you. There's feeling, you feel the energy of things, or you feel people's feelings and emotions, which are the people who think that they're too sensitive or they're empaths. Because they feel the feelings and emotions of people around them. Their biggest issue is really they don't know how to work with their energy boundaries. And there's also Karine Claire knowing, where you simply know things. And that's a really hard intuitive ability to work with. Over time, you can bring those all together so that, you're working really well with your intuition, and that ability that you need most in the moment steps forward to help you. So if you're feeling like I don't know anything, I can't see anything, that's because you're clairvoyant, and it's hard because you're going, am I making up a story, or is this really happening? And that's just working with your intuition, keeping a notebook of your experiences and how you're asking it to work with you, so that eventually you will become more confident of how you're working with it. In the meantime, it's almost like fake it till you make it. So just sit down and work with your crystal and just see what happens over time. So that's one of the points I wanted to bring up with you today. So some people see auras, right? That's cool. I don't. Okay, so different crystals to control emotions. I wouldn't say control, okay, because I have a completely different outlook on crystals than most other people do. So here's the thing. I look at crystals as partners, as beings who, like us, are equal with us in the world. They have souls, they have feelings, responsibilities, a choice to make, to live up to those responsibilities, and they certainly have opinions. So what we do when we find crystals to work with us as partners, as we invite those crystals who would like to join with us to meet us somehow. And that's one of the things that you do. So one of the first things I'd suggest you do if you're looking for a crystal partner, or if you're working with crystals right now, or really any other being that you would like to partner up with. But today I'm just talking about crystals. So ask yourself what you're ready for. What do you feel like you need in your life to support you? When I first started buying crystals, I was looking for grounding and balance. Why? Because I was working with very large energy systems like volcanoes and hurricanes, because one of the things I do is work with the planet. And I was meeting these beings and chatting with them and having conversations. But those are very, very large energies for a soul and a human body to deal with. Very easy to get ungrounded. So I was looking for grounding and balancing. And those are the number of crystals that I bought for that. But what are you looking for? Grounding and balancing is awesome. That's a cool thing. The other would be, self-love, which we all have to work on. It could be better relationships with the people around you, how to connect better with your animal family members. There's just so many things that you could be looking for. So figure out one thing that you're really looking for right now. And then you can go online and look at various crystal websites. You can look at crystal books. I have a whole collection of crystal books, and I just like to sit and look at them and flip through them and read the descriptions about them and look at the pictures. And do the pictures appeal to me? Does that color of crystal appeal to me? Does that type of crystal appeal to me? And then why does it or does it not appeal to me? And you'll kind of be drawn to the crystals that you kind of really need in your life right now. And trust that you will, if you keep looking at it and, trying to find what works for you in a particular situation. So bring mind, body, and spirit together. Okay, Jamily, that could be a difficult situation to deal with, what you're talking about, a demon moving into a house. You would need someone who does intense space clearing or works with the paranormal. I do that, but that might be something that you want to do in person, so I don't know where you're located. And yes, put out sea salt, put some really strong incense there. I like copal, C-O-P-A-L. So, and colors of crystals. Okay, so great. Red, blue, and purple crystals work for some people. Clear quartz for others. Fallon is citrine, Lemurian. Okay, so he may look really clear on some days, or he may have that faint citrine color to it. So what color of crystal appeals to you? And a lot of books are divided up into colors, so that's really useful. and read descriptions and go like, well, I'm kind of interested in that, but I'm more interested in this. You'll find things you're interested in. It's a more mind, body, and spirit approach to our habit of like switching channels on TV. What's interesting tonight? Or radio dial. What kind of radio show do I want to listen to? And then ask the crystal who would like to partner with you to show up. And it's like, how does that happen? Well, I had been told that my crystal partner was coming back to me. Or actually, I was told that my partner was coming back to me. I thought it would be just something in my head. I didn't know it was going to be a crystal. But when I met Fallon in the workshop, I immediately knew this was my partner. And they made it obvious by appearing inside the crystal so that I could see him. And I'm a person whose intuition works in all of those four ways. So that's how it became clear to me. And then Fallon and I started chatting. So we were chatting back and forth for 9 months before he finally physically came and joined the family. But I know I buy a lot of crystals from a local shop, Earthlight Rocks and Gems, and Kim and Todd Belines. They're great at helping people on the phone, but they also have a tiny shop, and so you can go in. So go into a crystal shop, and they're located here in Kirkland, Washington. But wherever you are, you can go into a shop that sells crystals and just explore them. You can just put your hand over them, see if you feel their energy, see what you're drawn to. So for me, a lot of times they're shiny things because I'm kind of like a magpie. But also, as you go into that shop, go, okay, I would like to find a crystal that can work with me on balance. Or I would like to find a crystal to work with me on grounding and protection, or learning to love myself more. And then see what your eye falls on, see what you're drawn to. I could run my hand over the top of things and know. Usually I just look at it and can see. And that's really a capability we all have. So trust yourself that you can do that you can look at a picture in a book or a picture online and go, oh, I would like an amethyst, or I would like a clear quartz crystal, or I would like a rose quartz for self-love. And there are descriptions that tell you what they're for, and those are created over people working with crystals for a long period of time, finding that rose quartz is really great for self-love. But that's not the only one out there. That would be a place to start, and to see where you can maybe find other crystals that work for that. For example, I have a carnelian, which is a red-orange crystal, and it's traditionally used root chakra, so security and self-reliance and those kind of issues. And yet that crystal works as a heart chakra crystal for me and for my clients who come. So be open to the experience and have fun exploring crystals. And while you're looking for them, then sit down and, I don't like to use the word meditate, because meditation for a lot of people keeps things out. And what you want to do is to invite a crystal to come in and make itself known to you. So sit down for, say, 10 minutes after you've done your research and go, okay, there are 4 or 5 different crystals that I could partner with. Which is the one that's stepping forward today? So it may be any one of 5 different crystals, and then your attention might be drawn to one in particular, like a Lemurian wand, Lemurian seed point, or something like that. Then go try to find one. And what I like to do is buy small ones so I can experience a variety of different crystals. And of course, once a crystal comes into our house, Fallon is pretty much adopting them. So I have to be careful who comes into our house, because a lot of people will bring crystals over me to heal and spend time with Fallon just to heal in what we call our crystal nursery. So those crystals are very clear that they're here for a limited amount of time, and then they go back to their people. So that's us. So also the shape. Now, a lot of people tell me they would like, Anahita Raythor, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing crystals. I don't know crystals that emit negative energy, but what would happen is crystals that aren't well treated, that are mined and disrespected, in that process and in the sale process can be damaged emotionally and physiologically. And again, understand that they're alive just like we are. So that's why I tell people, don't buy from weird sites that just get crystals from places like China, where you know they're not as well cared for during the mining process as others. You buy from crystal dealers like my friend Kim at Earthlight Rocks and Gems, or places that have a good reputation online or a good reputation locally in the area where you live, where they buy crystals, where they let them recuperate from the mining and the buying process, where they're handled with love and respect, and where they're honored as being the great beings that they are. Those crystals have a hand up in being able to be their best selves, as also being able to support you. That's why I said we have a crystal nursery at our house. People who have crystals that are damaged for one reason or another, and I'm talking about like psychological and emotional damage, because again, they are alive. So they don't emit negative energy as a crystal. It's because they've been damaged in the process. Some of them don't recover from that, and others do. It just takes time. So that's what I would say to that. And of course, we all need to be pure, right, to vibrate at a higher frequency. And crystals are like us. Different crystals vibrate at different frequencies. You will know a crystal is damaged once you start learning how your intuition works, and you can tell immediately by looking at it, you can tell by touching it, you can tell by asking it, like, how are you feeling? I had a crystal that I bought for a friend from a reputable dealer, but that crystal hadn't been with her very long, and it was an amethyst, and had been locked away and not cared for by the people who mined it. And when I brought it home, it wasn't feeling well. And it literally bit me on the hand. And I'm like, ow, that was really not nice. Well, after a day or two, I just packed him up and sent him to my friend who was the one who wanted to connect with him. And over time, he healed with her and then apologized to me for biting me. And now we're good friends. But that's the situation. When you're very open to the energy and to the feelings of the crystals that you're buying, you will know if they're healthy or not, and if they can recover with you or not. And if you're just starting out, I would gravitate towards the really healthy ones and find a way that you know how that is. If you're not under a lot of pressure to buy something, that's why I suggest buying small ones that you're attracted to and bringing them home. And then as you experiment with them over time, you will know if this is a healthy crystal or if it isn't, and if you can help it. That's where people get into all the clearing crystals and that kind of stuff, which is really more for us than for them. They can clear themselves. I will wash a crystal that doesn't dissolve in water just to get the dust off. And every once in a while, I give Fallon a bath just because we have a lot of clients that come here to our office, and he has handprints all over him. So just things like that. But again, that's a larger conversation. Oops, sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. Hang on. It's a larger conversation. I will get into a longer podcast that I'm doing. We're almost out of time for today. Anyway, bring in a crystal that you're interested in, invite it to partner up with you, and just play with it and let it play with you and enjoy the interaction. And you'll have lots of fun. You'll be amazed at their response to you, and just keep playing. You may end up with a whole collection of crystals, which is awesome. And you may end up with a particular partner. But the shape, I just wanted to leave you with the idea of the shape is, oh, good, I pronounced your name correctly. Awesome. Yes, definitely talk to your crystals. I mean, well, again, I'm a person who is very strongly clairaudient, so I'm out there talking to everything. But really, crystals are very awesome. And when I've told people, just talk to them, And they'll say to people, I had one friend who asked a crystal, do I need to go through all this clearing thing that the people are talking about? And the crystal was laughing. And he goes, no, somehow humans decided that, but we're fine, you know? Just like you, everything needs to be clean. So, you know, keep them well dusted. My cat will occasionally knock a crystal off the table and chase it around the room. And then we have to have a conversation about being respectful for other beings. But the shape, Fallon is a crystal ball. And I was like, oh my God, it's a crystal ball. Like, how corny is that? Um, so, and I had remembered that we spent previous lifetimes together, and he was in a different shape then. And he'd only been changed, his shape had only been changed 6 years before we met again. You know, so I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I work with a crystal ball? You're not in the same shape that I used to know you in. And his response to me was, well, you're not the tall blonde broad that I used to work with either. So I hope you get a good laugh out of that. The shape really doesn't matter. There are people that say the crystal ball shape makes the energy go around. Well, in a way it does, because it's contained within that body, right? So a round body will go that way. But don't worry about the shape. Worry about the crystal and how you respond to it and it responds to you. And if it's willing to come into your family, you will know it. I decided I was looking for a Shiva Lingam one time, and I didn't know I was going to mention that, so I didn't bring it in here from the other room. And I went to a store, and I said, I'm looking for a Shiva Lingam, and it isn't out obvious here in this store. And so they went to a bookcase, and it was on the bottom shelf. And as they pulled the crystal out, I couldn't look at it. It was shining so brightly. And again, that was like its aura, right? And I was like, oh, you know, well, I bought it and I brought it home. And here's the cool thing. They wrapped it in, that tissue paper, put it in a bag. And when I brought it home and took it out of the bag, it was so hot, I could barely touch it. And over the course of several days, it would be really hot and then cold and hot and then cold. And someone said to me, well, that's an indication that you and your crystal have found each other. Maybe so, but it was a pretty dramatic acknowledgement that we were coming together as partners now. That I knew to go to that store, that I knew that it wasn't out in public, that when they brought it out, the light was so bright for me that I had to turn away. And I don't usually have that clairvoyant reaction to things. So there are all kinds of ways to find your partners. Invite them to come to you. Don't worry about the shape. Buy a bunch of small ones so that you can experience them, so you can tell if they've been well treated or not. And ask them if you feel they need support. Ask them what they need from you to be their best selves, just like you would with an animal family member or any other family member. How can I support you to be your best self? And so we're almost out of time. But again, the crystal of the week this week, which I do a crystal of the week every week, is Fallon. So when you think about bringing a crystal into your family, you can invite Fallon to help you. Just say, hey, Fallon, is this a good family member or not? And he'll probably say, oh, send it to me. So don't do that. We have enough here. But trust yourself and trust that you will find these partners to work with you. They are awesome. They are there waiting to partner with you. And all we need to do is to show them respect and love, and to really ask them what they need from us and how they will partner with us, so that together we can help create the best world that we can. So I want to thank you for joining me today. Please join me in my radio show. It's every Tuesday at 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern at owntimes.com radio. Today we're doing part 2 on practical intuition in our animal families. Leela, not really. Do cracks in a crystal damage its power? Not really. Sometimes people think that if they break one, it does. But Fallon, okay, look, Fallon weighs 8 pounds. His original shape was gigantic, way beyond the screen here. He's still Fallon in all his shape. if you pick up that crystal and ask it and it says it's damaged and it's beyond repair, then it could be, and it could have met the end of its lifespan, as it's known, because nothing lives forever. So Tony, I'm going to have to get back to you because we're out of time for today. And I try to go back to these broadcasts and try to tap in and answer questions, and sometimes it kicks me out, but I will try to get back to you today. But you're also welcome to join me at my radio show this afternoon and every week moving on from that, because we have a whole lot of subjects that we're talking about. Next week, I'm bringing in someone who's just written a book on crystals. That'll be interesting to share what I know are very different perspectives on how we work with crystals. You're also, if you like these broadcasts, please like the Humanity Healing page and the Om Times Magazine page and the Om Times Radio page and my Facebook business page, The Practical Intuitive Robin M. Fritz. And you have any questions in addition to what's here, and you don't hear back from me because I'm kind of a klutz with technology and can't always figure out how to answer people here, send me a question at my Facebook business page or to my website, robin@robinfritz.com. It's ROBYNFRITZ.com. I do personal and business intuition, mediumship, animal communication, space clearing, past life and between life regression, and soul clearing. So energy healing, obviously with crystals. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see you next week here at this time. And again, join me on my radio show. Talk to you later. We always love questions and call-ins. So take care. Thank you. Bye.